Joining us on the Worcester Hotline, a man that covers the other team owned by Terry Pegula, the Buffalo Sabres. We'll get his thoughts on the firing and a quick recap of yesterday afternoon's Sabres loss to Carolina. They lost in a game that the opposing goalie, who you'd never heard of, frustrated them greatly. Paul, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Paul, how'd the McDermott news hit you? And, as someone that's covered Terry Pegula and his trials and errors with the Buffalo Sabres, there's always been this conversation like, well, how are the Bills so good and the Sabres so bad? And right now, hey, the Sabres are pretty good. And the Bills are the ones going through a big coaching change. So how did the news hit you when you found out McDermott got fired?
Well, as you know, I am out around the Bills in the springtime and through training camp before hockey starts, and then peel away when hockey starts. So I am around the team for a while each and every year, and I honestly never thought Terry Pegula would fire Sean McDermott. I just didn't think he would. It's personally, I admire Sean McDermott. I think he did a fantastic job of turning the Buffalo Bills organization around. We all know the organization was nowhere until Sean McDermott showed up. We all know that culture is a buzzword in sports, and every coach talks about culture, but very few pull it off. And I think Sean McDermott pulled it off, totally changing the culture down there and getting the players to believe in it. But I think you also have to bottom line it too. He's 8-8 as a playoff coach. He has arguably the best quarterback in the National Football League and hasn't been able to get to a Super Bowl there. It just seems like at the end of every season there's something, some incident, some referee, some this, some that. But I think at the end of the day, you have to bottom line it to the point where I personally felt, and I think I've said this on the air too, the times I have talked about the Bills, 13 seconds was it for me. I just felt that the Bills were as far as they were going to go under Sean McDermott after that happened. I just didn't feel in the biggest games that he was going to be able to get you through. And it reminds me a lot of the situation in Tampa Bay with Tony Dungy, where he would get Tampa almost there. And they fired him and hired John Gruden, and then I think it was the next year they won the Super Bowl. So it just reminds me, it's not that Sean McDermott is a bad coach. I don't think he is. But I just think the Bills had gotten as far as they could get with Sean McDermott.
It is funny, looking back at that Gruden story, it's a good story. They had a great roster. They were loaded with talent defensively. They won it on the strength of their defense. And then the next 2 years, they go 7-9 and 5-11. Not to say that's not worth it.
Yeah, right.
It's just kind of like they were in a window where they thought this team can win immediately, so we're going to go out and get that guy. And that guy did win the Super Bowl for them. He went on to not win another playoff game for the rest of his time in Tampa, and that was for another 6 seasons. So,
as you said, he got it done one time.
Right.
And I think every fan in Western New York who's a fan of the Buffalo Bills would love to see the Buffalo Bills get it done, even if it's just one time.
Sure, that's right. The other part of that story is that Tony Dungy went on to then win a Super Bowl too. So,
yes.
Anyway, not to that. That's a little bit on the side. One more thing before we get to the hockey side of this, Paul. How about Brandon Beane being retained and elevated to president of football operations? Because what's happening here is the Bills are going to be operating over a little bit more like the hockey team, vertically structured, as opposed to different people reporting to the owner.
Yeah, boy, my timeline was just filled with what? He did not put together a great roster. I just don't think there's any question about that. Totally ignored wide receiver for the most. Well, I won't say ignored it, but he ignored it to a.
I'll say.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He didn't do. He would bring in guys that you're scratching your head, going, huh? What? And really, to me, of these marginal guys he would bring in, the only one that I think worked out, he played really well here, didn't ever put shoes on, and then took off for the New England Patriots. Hollins, I think, really was the only one that came through. The other ones, you're just scratching your head going, what are you doing here? And, even the draft. I mean, that almost should have gotten him fired there. Did you do your homework on Keon Coleman? I mean, I know you did, but did you?
Apparently not.
I mean, you left two other wide receivers. The Chargers take McConkey with the next pick. You didn't take Worthy. You made a trade, and I'm almost speechless talking about that.
Yep.
And then the defensive line stuff is just well documented. Von Miller, I guess you can't predict injuries.
No, I still like that move. It was a risk, but
the amount of assets over 7 years, Paul, they poured into it and not gotten results. Yeah.
With Von Miller, but it didn't work. And Bosa, in my mind, didn't work. Yeah, Bosa would put pressure on the quarterback at times, but I think they wanted more than just pressure on the quarterback. When that signing came. So yeah, I don't disagree with what they did with Sean McDermott, but I do disagree with what they've done here with Brandon Beane.
Paul, the Sabres game happened in the cloud of all this news breaking, so give everyone a quick recap. They lost to Carolina. They always lose in Carolina, but maybe they, for the first time in a long time in Carolina, deserved to win?
Yeah, 2016 we're talking about in Carolina. They just can't seem to win there. But yeah, they absolutely got goalied. I know they only had 18 shots, but a lot of those shots were grade A opportunities. Quite honestly, I think Tage Thompson played just as well yesterday in Carolina as he did in that 5-point performance against Montreal. He just couldn't get the puck to go in the net. I mean, he would produce chance after chance after chance, and they were great chances. And he just couldn't get it by Brandon Bussey, and who, by the way, Carolina got on waivers from Florida. Florida signed him as a free agent, never had played in the National Hockey League at age 27. He was in the Bruins organization when Florida signed him, and then they put him on waivers to put, just kind of like Ellis, to put him down in the minors. And Carolina takes him, and it's like, okay, he's 18-3-1. What? I mean, okay. And he was every bit as good. And Luukkonen was good yesterday, too. Luukkonen in the first period, because this is in the last 40 minutes I'm talking about how well the Sabres played. First period, they didn't play very well at all. Luukkonen had to stop 2 breakaways by former Sabres, Hall and Robinson, and he made some good saves, too. But, I mean, he didn't have to make the type of saves all game long or in the last 40 minutes like Bussey had to make. So the Sabres put the pressure on him, and they just couldn't get the puck by him enough to be able to get any points out of that hockey game.
Sabres play tonight in Nashville, looking to get a win. They've got a little bit of a losing streak. They did get a point against Minnesota over the weekend, and I was actually pretty happy about that point. I thought Minnesota played great, and the Sabres, to take one out of that game I was good with. So, all right, Paul, we'll talk tomorrow about this Nashville game.
And quickly, we did ask Lindy Ruff about Sean McDermott.
Oh, yeah,
They were friends. And
we've got Lindy at 8 o'clock this morning, too.
Right, and his basic comment was, you know what, that's what we sign up for. He goes, we all know, as coaches know, that we are eventually going to be fired. We all know it. And he said you'd never know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. It's part of the job. But he felt really bad for Sean McDermott because they were friends, and he thought he did a terrific job with the Bills. But he knows how Sean McDermott feels because he says that's what you sign up for as a coach.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul.
Take care.
Paul Hamilton on the Western Hotline on the Sabres, who play Nashville tonight.
It was a great day to be a goalie yesterday. Between Bussey and then he had a goalie fight. Although, as a goalie, Owen, Sergei Bobrovsky's definitely never fought in his life before, right?
No, he looked like he was just like trying to dive at Nedeljkovic. That was hilarious. I didn't see what started that whole thing up, but did you see the reaction on the Sharks bench after it happened?
Yeah, I loved it.
They were all loving. Like Macklin Celebrini had never seen anything like that in his life. It was unbelievable.
803-0550. We'll get some calls when we return. Thanks for hanging with us. We'll get to as many as we can throughout the morning. We are pretty much wide open until 8 o'clock when Lindy joins us. So we'll buzz through phone calls. 803-0550. Of course, get you the very latest. Robert Saleh has been hired as the new coach of the Tennessee Titans. So take that off the list. Have yet to see a McDermott link yet. Baltimore,
I think
Pittsburgh,
we'll get one.
Cleveland, that probably comes soon. So stay tuned for that as well. And by the way, the Bills maybe very well could play a McDermott team next year.
Ooh, how many of the openings do they play? They play Vegas, right? Next
They play
year.
Vegas.
They play Baltimore.
They play Baltimore.
Is that it?
They also
don't play. They don't play Cleveland next year, right?
No.
They don't play Arizona.
No, that's it.
Okay,
That's
so
ultimately
it would have to be the Raiders or the Ravens.
Yep.
I could see him on the Raiders.
You could definitely see him on the Ravens.